Hello and welcome to MCFC 9320 PUBCast. Good evening, everybody in the comments. Michael, DC, Harvey, Alec. I don't want to miss anyone. Michael, Mark. I think Jackson as well. Yeah, if I forget anybody, apologies. I will come to you as I'm going to see. Good evening, Paddy, and hello, the mysterious Anne-Marie, who's a bit in the black. Oh, there she is. We can see her proper now. Hello, Anne-Marie.
Can you?
No, you look like a Sabutio player.
She's shy tonight.
Oh, she's shying. She's shying
away. I don't know why you can't see me. You might just have to put up with it like this. I can't be bothered.
Oh, it's an improvement. Paddy says it's an improvement anyway. Don't worry.
I'm not disagreeing with you.
Anne-Marie, have you got a man friend round there? No. Is that why we can't see you?
No. I'll go out and come back in because I don't know why.
Hey! It's not even 9 o'clock yet. So anyway, so good evening, everybody. Yeah, tonight, apologies, there was no show as well last night. I was a little bit poorly, so on and so forth. Anyway, so we're here tonight. Listen, we're going to talk about the Charity Shield, obviously, and also, and I really, really want your input more than ever tonight, guys. I'm getting a little bit frustrated with some City fans having meltdowns when a result doesn't go our way, when it's not favourable. It's not going to be long now before there's going to be a pep out brigade, Paddy. Where do we start? Oh, hang on. Here's Anne-Marie again.
No.
Oh.
Don't know what's going on. You just have to make do with this tonight, I'm afraid.
I don't mind.
Yeah, I don't mind either.
No, so yeah, I don't know if you caught that then, Anne-Marie. We're obviously going to talk about the Charity Shield, the Community Shield. Some of the things what I've heard. Obviously, I wasn't there yesterday because I was also doing the boycott. But the meltdown on some City fans, it's really, really starting to not annoy me, but frustrate me.
Andy, it's standard. You know that you know that yourself from just the group. We put the results up after every game, and if we've lost or drawn, we get more comments than if we'd won, and that's
okay. Some of the things what obviously I said I didn't go yesterday. However, some of the things what I've been seeing frequently through social media has been in the city and yesterday with Arsenal fans, different kinds of fans. There was a lot of unrest. Now that was going to be expected anyway. Now, do you think that's part of all the meltdown, Paddy? Before we get onto the pitch, or do you want to do on the pitch first?
Well, look, you call them fans. The people who are doing the meltdowns are the half and half scarf brigade.
Don't get me going on.
Like, what proper fan will put a half and half scarf around their neck? And these are the people that. Well, I don't follow them on Twitter or Insta or anything like that.
Do you think anybody who wears an half and half scarf, you should be allowed to go up and punch them on the nose? Do you think that should be law?
Yeah.
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 And a city have got to stop them being sold outside the ground.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, it's not listen, I know people buy snide shirts and stuff like that, but they don't sell them out, as far as I know, outside the ground. All you see is all this crap merchandise outside the ground. So, saying that, if City stopped and knowing City, they probably would bring their own half and half scarves out anyway. Right, let's start off with the match. How do you think we played yesterday, Paddy? I don't think we played too bad, in particular the first half.
Well, the first 30 minutes, Arsenal didn't have a sniff in terms of the way we were playing. I know they came in late after that, but I definitely think the air miles caught up on us on the second half. I think there was a lot of tired legs there. And that's how I think Arsenal come into the match even more. Like, do you want somebody like getting full-blooded tackles on a stupid Charlie Shield and being injured for the rest of the season? No, that wouldn't appeal to me at all. I know it's frustrating to lose to Arsenal. I mean, because like they think now they've won the fucking World Cup the way they celebrated. Like for me personally, it's the bigger picture. Look, it's a warm-up match. It's like it's a trophy if you won it, and it's a charity shield if you don't. So
because we're seeing things from Arsenal fans like we won the the Community Shield final. Our first bit of major silverware for whatever. It's like, hang on a minute. Listen, I'll be totally honest, Anne-Marie. I wasn't even fussed yesterday. I considered that. Yeah, listen, I want City to win no matter what. Tiddlywinks or whatever. However, I still see yesterday as fitness, getting your fitness, because this Friday coming up against Burnley is more important to me. And treble winner, got it bang on. If we win on Friday, we're top of the league. But that is more important for me. I wanted players yesterday, like, no disrespect to him, Cole Palmer to start. I wanted Calvin Phillips to start. I wanted Gomez to start. I wanted James McAtee to start, because the bigger picture's Friday, isn't it, Anne-Marie?
Of course it is. And yesterday was nothing but a glorified friendly. And for what it's worth, I think as Pep pointed out in his after-match press conference, last 3 years we've lost it and then gone on to win the league. So to me, it means absolutely nothing. I think obviously the league is always top priority above everything else. Anything else other than the league's a bonus. But yesterday was just, the thing that got me was the way they celebrated at the end. You'd swear that they'd taken all our trophies off us in one go. And, they weren't all that. They got lucky in the end with that equaliser. They got lucky.
Does that show though how far most of us have come? That, listen, I'm not downgrading the Community Shield in any way, shape, or form, because for me, what really came good out of yesterday was apparently over 15 grand has been raised, for the food banks of Manchester. So for me, that was fantastic. As I say, the people who was there wasn't your regular City fans. Well, the majority of them wasn't. I'm not bothered whether people went or not yesterday. I don't think we played too bad. Fitness, it's all starting again with the media, isn't it? Haaland had, no shots on target? He only had so many touches. Oh, hello. Did they not start that, before? Well, straight after last season's Community Shield against Leicester's ground against Liverpool. So I just wish that
the most important thing yesterday was to come away with no injuries, to improve our fitness and come away with no injuries. Not that long ago, we played the Community Shield against Liverpool, and Sane got injured, and that was him out for the season in that game. So for me, so long as we come through without injuries and we're improving our fitness, I'm not bothered about yesterday's game. I'm more concerned with beating Burnley on Friday.
So come on, guys, in the comments, because it's really been not just yesterday. There's been a build-up of all this these meltdowns. What is driving the meltdowns? And I'm not going to disrespect anybody in any way. I'm going to throw devil's advocate as I like to do on here. Is it new breed fans? I was just going to say old fans, and Anne-Marie disappears. Is it some of the older fans? Because I'm starting to see tension now between City's longer serving fans and some of the newer fans, Paddy. And I don't know where it's going to end, because at the end of the day, it's not just with opinions on the meltdowns and stuff like that. We start, we've got probably the best team we've ever had, the best manager we've ever had, but we're still going, and I say we collectively, we're going about isolating players, and like Calvin Phillips, Mahrez has been getting it, Gomez has been getting it. Why can't people just back what we've got?
Because it doesn't suit the narrative. You have the long-term fans such as us, right, who've been in the so-called trenches and been in second division and stuff like that. We're battle-hardened as such, because we've been exposed to failure, we've been exposed to bad times. And then, because the club have become so successful, it attracts a certain type of person that wouldn't be supporting us if we weren't successful. Like, if Man United were successful in the last 10 years, I'm sure there'd be more people joining Man United or Liverpool or Chelsea. It just happens to be us. So then we as the long-term fans have a choice. Either we put up with the newer ones and let them have their say and just ignore them and count our blessings. As you say, we have the best manager in the world. We've one of the best teams in the world. We're about to turn over £7 billion in turnover. And unfortunately, success attracts hangers-on.
Right. So it is a tweet what really, really annoyed me the other day. I basically put about, if I had one wish today, it'd be that basically people would back Calvin Phillips, la-di-da-di-da-di-da. And someone accused me of being racist because, I bet you'd never said that about Mahrez when Mahrez was going through a bad time. And I think I copied you in the tweet as well. It's just like, how dare anybody say, is he trying to be a racist, or it could have been a she, I don't know, racist, or it's okay to abuse white players? No, it's not okay to abuse any player, no matter what colour skin, wherever they're from. And I think this is what's starting to creep into a little bit. And I don't wish to sound a bit, my throat is a bit thingy tonight, guys. But there's certain things what are creeping into our fan base now. What's not how I want it to be. I know nobody gives a shit whether I want it to be or not. I'm not here trying to be God or anything. But I just want to try and understand why people are having meltdowns.
Yeah, but I think you were better off trying not to understand them. Because
there is an element of that. Trying not to understand
blue goal there. Blue goal. Absolutely brilliant comment. It's been embarrassing reaction to yesterday, and I thought we played well to where we are in fitness and match fitness, considering we started the pre-season late. Absolutely. That is bang on the money. Now, there was a meltdown when we lost to Atletico Madrid. So what? Players like Calvin Phillips were being targeted. Hang on, not a lot of players really played well against Atletico Madrid. But you know something? I'm not bothered because it's all about fitness. So do they want us to come flying out the traps, beat Atletico Madrid, and then lose against Burnley? Or do they want Pep to make changes to get that match level, that match fitness for all the players? Because it's the squad what needs the match fitness. So did they want us to go full pelt, full strength team, beat somebody in a meaningless friendly, whether it was Atletico Madrid, whether it was Arsenal yesterday? Or are they trying to question Pep? Does Pep know what he's doing? Hello?
Yeah. I don't even think it's that, Andy. I think you just, and this, please don't anyone take this as a racist comment, because it's not at all. But if you look at our fan base, so if we signed Mahrez and we attracted a huge fan base that wouldn't necessarily have been our fan base because of Mahrez.
I agree.
To the point that each year he was there or thereabouts for player of the season, whether he'd played well or not. Because it wasn't a case of whether he'd played well, it was because of who he was and where he was from that he was getting voted for.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think that there's an element of that to some extent. I'm not saying just because of Mahrez, but I just think, we have that element now, and we have the people that, we've seen us at our very worst. And the problem is
We
that
can't see anything tonight from you, whether you
no,
were.
and it's just as well, trust me. But we've seen us at our very worst and at our lowest ebb, and yet we're not allowed to go on about that. We're not allowed to go on about our history because this new generation of fans aren't interested in it. They're only interested in win, 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 and it's not always been like that.
I get that, Anne-Marie, but also all the old fuddy-duddies a bit like us. Maybe we should start. Not forget where we've been, etc. But maybe we should stop harping on about it a little bit, because I bet some of the younger breed are a little bit annoyed that we keep. You weren't there at York, you weren't here, da. Obviously, because they wasn't born. It's not their fault. I'm split straight down the middle on this one. So my opinion is there's no right or wrong.
No, there isn't a right or wrong, but if you look, just think about the number of our fans that would have been there in 68. It was 68, wasn't it? When we won the league at Newcastle. And they've seen...
You was there, weren't you?
No, I wasn't. But, they've seen glory days prior to all of this, which we haven't, because I'm certainly not old enough to remember that. But you don't see them going on about how great, the nearest we get to it is people saying about what a player Colin Bell was. Now, Colin Bell, from what I've seen of him on highlights and different things, was an unreal player. Mm-hmm. And having met the man, was a proper gentleman. But I've got no idea of how skillful he really was. I can only go off what other people tell me. And that in itself, I didn't witness him playing. But the fact that he's going to have a statue outside the ground, for me, is justified and right. But it doesn't mean that I can't go on about...
No, I get that. I totally get that, and that's why I say, there's no right or wrong on that. But don't get me going on statues, for God's sake. Elliot there, absolutely spot on again. Also, if Calvin Phillips played anything like Silva Kovacic yesterday, you wouldn't hear the end of it. Let's be fair, and it's right, and I think it's because fans favour it because he's got a song sung about him. Silva, Kovacic because he's new. We're giving the benefit of the doubt.
I didn't think Kovacic did that bad yesterday.
No, but I think Elliot's just saying in general, because Silva didn't have his best game, Kovacic didn't have his best game, but
Haaland didn't have his best game.
No, so okay. So Paddy, yesterday, what was more important for you, the result or being ready for Friday?
Friday. So Haaland put up a comment today about the marathon has begun, or something to that effect. Like that's the way it is. Like the business starts next Friday night, or this Friday night. Jesus, yesterday wasn't great to lose. Nobody likes to lose, but it's more about formations and getting minutes in the legs and getting match fit.
Anne-Marie?
Yeah, I would agree with that. But one thing it did highlight was that we have got to start practicing bloody penalties.
We haven't been good at penalties in fucking 10 years, I'd say.
Exactly. I know we haven't. And,
Mahrez scored his fair share of them, though.
And he missed his fair share as well.
Mike, good evening, Mike. Major competitions are more important, but a trophy is a trophy. I get that, but it's not a trophy, it's a shield. Don't matter.
That's nitpicking, Andy.
Eh?
So that's just nitpicking. It's
no,
silverware.
I get what Mike is saying. I just for me, it's all about fitness. Good evening, Martin. Can anyone explain the Grealish hate all of a sudden? Delusional fans at times. Absolutely bang on the money, mate. And that's what I'm saying. Where are we going as a fan base? Because, and I'm not just saying this because of the guys who are in the chat as well. No, normally they're all bang on the money. You know, that's why we show so many comments on there, because they know the stuff. But there's another side. Do you reckon? I know fan channels like this always get a bit of criticism and stuff like that. But do you reckon some of these fanboys, let's not beat around the bush tonight, as it were. You touched upon it before, Anne-Marie, with the Mahrez fan base. For me now, if it's those who are absolutely slaughtering, picking on another player, I'm pretty sure nobody wants them as City fans if they're going from, well, if Mahrez is gone now, we're going to pick on a player, whether it's Calvin Phillips, whether it's Gomez or Grealish, etc., because it's not going to be before long that there's going to be a major kickoff inside the Etihad, because things like this will be brewing. Not that I can ruin it, but I can see it up, because it's getting very, very touchy.
Yeah, you're right in what you're saying, Andy. And unfortunately, if we use Grealish as the example, Grealish has left himself wide open to this, because I honestly believe Jack's a great player, and I think he does and will continue to do a great job for us. Unfortunately, what overshadows that were his celebrations after the treble win. Yes, he deserved to celebrate. There's no disputing that. But I think maybe his mistake was plastering it all over social media, because people are looking at that and saying, well, look, you've had a great summer because you've been constantly pissed all summer. And how can you come back and be fit to play for us? Kind of thing. And
no,
I disagree with that. Greedy.
Sorry, mate. I just think that certain fans, I'm sure it happens at every other club as well. I'm pretty sure if certain fans, if they don't like a player, they'll let them know. And
well, none of our players were booed on the pitch yesterday, were they? Unlike our lovely neighbours across the road. A certain Mr. Maguire was booed because I don't know the full facts, but apparently he gave a goal away, and the United fans booed him. You think
they'd be used to that now, though, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
No, but I just think there's certain fans what will have a go at certain players for no matter whatever reason. Historically, I don't mean just recently, historically, but I'm finding it's getting worse now, and it's a head scratcher for me.
But it's media led, and then so-called fans then jump on the bandwagon. Like, going back to Grealish, what Anne-Marie was saying, he's perfectly entitled to do what he did.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
Yes, you'll see he posts stuff on social media, and we want access to players. We want to be closer to players. We want to know what's going on in their lives and stuff like that. Jack Grealish partied, I'd say, for no more than 2 weeks, less, I'd say. And then every other video was of him training in 35-degree heat and so on. But it's like the English media, they have big history with this. Paul Gascoigne, Paul Merson, because they have this so-called perceived idea that Jack Grealish is a party boy. He's not. He's after 11 months of day in, day out training, and then he goes on 2 weeks and celebrates won in a treble, and all of a sudden he's been painted in a bad light.
I agree. You know, they are trying to portray him as if he's Paul Gascoigne and stuff like that, but there's no better manager to have on your side than Pep there. Alex, and again, it was the sort of like for me, it's the beginning of the end. What we seen yesterday, the time added on was a joke. Yeah, whereas I've always said, and you guys look back there, when a goalkeeper is feigning injury, I've always said, and people do laugh at me, the goalkeeper should have to go off the field, and then you'd stop the goalkeeper. You'd stop him then from going down, rolling round as if he's been shot by a Japanese sniper or any sniper, any good or bad snipers, that would stop it. But now it's like somebody sneezes, and it's let's add a bit of time on. Who was it I was speaking to earlier? I was speaking to my boss earlier. He's an Everton fan, Mike. And he come up with a good idea. And, sometimes the simpler ideas are good. He went, why don't they just stop the clock? If a play goes down, just stop the clock. It's still a 90-minute game. Stop the clock. So it's leading up to that rather than the unexpected. How long is a referee going to add on? Because at the moment, you can go, don't know how long a referee's going to add on.
No, but that's exactly what they are doing. So when a player goes down, when the ball goes out of play, they are stopping the clock. Now, obviously, we're not seeing that, but they do stop the clock, and that's where we're getting the time added on. And it's only going to get worse as the season goes on. And I mean, in honesty, we've seen it at the Etihad for the last 2 seasons at least, where particularly we use Southampton as an example, and Notts Forest, from the 3rd minute of the game on, we're time wasting. So we're not seeing a 90-minute game, seeing play acting and rolling around just to try and get what they want, which often at the Etihad backfires on them. But that's one of the reasons they're doing it. We can't complain about goalkeepers and such like time wasting if we're not going to be happy when we get 8 minutes added on at the end of a game or 10 minutes added on at the end of a game.
It's more or less now, isn't it? Like a player scores, instead of a celebration, the ball's in the back of the net. It's like, oh, just come on. It's only a goal, Say it's the Champions League final or something like that. Don't celebrate because they'll add 10 minutes on. Come on. It's not that important. They're taking that human element away from, and that adrenaline rush, because now I don't know if you're all the same, the guys in the comments are used to, when City score a goal now, your initial reaction is to jump, and then you go, hang on. Just let for me, it's taking it away, and it shows the importance or the self-importance, because yesterday we saw it again. It panned straight to Howard Webb. For me, that says everything. It's like, hang on a minute.
The whole crowd started booing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So some things, and will this last all season, or like me and Paddy spoke early on before we went live. Like normally they bring a rule change in, and about halfway through the season when it's not working, they'll change it. For me, they've either got to stick with it all the way through the season, or stop it now, because somebody's going to lose. I don't mean points in the respect of it could be enough for somebody to win the league. If they gain points through something, it could be a relegation. What's going to cost the team absolutely millions.
But it's not just the time, is it? Look, if you look at the bookings yesterday, I think Partey and Alvarez both got booked for kicking the ball away.
Was Grealish on the pitch with Partey?
But you're going to end up with 38 league matches that could possibly be 100+ minutes in duration. And that's going to lead to players' injuries, muscle injuries, ACLs. It's going to be nuts.
I want to talk about something else tonight as well. And again, part of the meltdown, what's going on. Poor Cheeky has been absolutely battered with some fans questioning the board and Cheeky, you know, why is he doing our transfer business? Yet again, he's pulled another rabbit out of the hat with Gvardiol at that price for, I don't even think I'm exaggerating when I say arguably the best defender on the planet. But people are questioning him. How can they question somebody of his track record? Has he ever let us down? People might say, oh yeah, Declan Rice. The difference is with Declan Rice, we put one bid in, that was like a toe in the water, and we wasn't prepared to go any higher, because people can say what they want about Declan Rice. He looks like a centre half playing in midfield. You know, we dodged a bullet with that one if we was serious. But why are they questioning the board, Anne-Marie?
Because they expect us to go out and sign big every summer, and it just can't be done. Because, you know, as much as most people don't think we do, we play within the rules. You know, financial fair play. We're not spending more than we can. And the reality is as well, what do they want? Because in general, the team only needed tweaks. It didn't need massive overhaul. It just needed tweaks. Now, we're in a position where we're still not 100% sure what Kyle Walker's going to do. We're still not 100% sure about Bernardo, but I think Bernardo will stay.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so, you know, I was pleased. I mean, it was a great goal by Cole Palmer yesterday, which was good to see. But it doesn't work, you know, and then you look at, you know, people will be looking at the likes of Mbappe, and I believe tonight Neymar said he wants out of PSG. And people are looking at that and thinking, well, they could come and play for us. No, they couldn't, because they would totally disrupt whatever team spirit we've got. And we don't need that. You know, it's more important that we've got a unity in the dressing room and in the stands that brings us all together, and it is gonna, you know, that is the 12th man option. That is what we are, and we have to play up to that.
You know, something that's a great link, that, Paddy, because what Mark's put there, my son is 19 and he doesn't care about yesterday's game. He probably gets that from me. I think that's good grounding and stuff like, because my lad's 25 and he's pretty, not that he doesn't care. Obviously, we all want City to win, but I think we understand the importance and what needs to be done before. And let's not forget, it's going to be a huge season ahead, because it's probably arguably the most competitive Premier League season we could be up against. So because we lost, we lost on penalties after conceding a 7,084 minute equaliser, and we lost on penalties in a Community Shield. I think if we go to scoop the Premier League, Champions League, FA Cup again, people won't remember this game at all, will they?
No, that's always the way. But even going back to the Tiki there and the signing of players, some of them boys think they're playing Xbox or PlayStation. That all get him, like a child in a sweet shop. We only sign players that fits our system. Like, we do a lot of background checks on them in terms of their personality and stuff, and how well suited they would be to our team. Like, as Anne-Marie says, we won't be signing Neymar or Mbappe because their egos are too big and they'd upset the team ethos. And there's nobody bigger than each other in that team. But like, again, as Anne-Marie says, there's not big surgery needed for that team.
There's not, mate. There's not. And what Keith says there, you know, I totally get it, Keith, where you see, I'm not really seeing this meltdown. I've blocked so-called City fans with stupid views. Don't want to hear their nonsense. I'm one for anybody's entitled to a view. The amount I'm seeing people with these views what I don't agree with. I don't want to agree with everybody, and I don't want to come across a happy clapper or anything like that, because I'm far from a happy clapper, for people who know me. But I'm seeing people who don't even follow on Twitter with all these stupid views. I blame Elon Musk, me.
But look, I would be bequeathed to just block them or unfollow them, or it's not that I want to surround myself with people who think the same as me all the time. But if you're just being a moron, well, that's what the block button is for. Because some of them, the Greedies today was getting the big time online. Like Jack Greedies was one of the best players of last season.
Mm-hmm.
So he kind of had an under par performance yesterday. Well, I don't think anybody stood out yesterday. The Boo Boys then go and attack him online. And Phillips, I don't think that target will ever going to be taken off Phillips' back, no matter what he does. It's never going to be good enough for these boys.
And for me, it's quite sad with what you say. I think you're right. I think no matter what Calvin Phillips does now, it's not going to be good enough, mate. He could have worldies, and it's not going to be good enough. Let's not forget, Rodri started his City career off, not bad,
not the greatest.
Not the greatest.
No.
And there was a bit of what if we bought la di da di da. Why don't we give players? We just seem to. I'll say it as it is. We just seem to target. Some fans seem to target players, and it's head scratching with me. And let's use Cancelo for an instance, right? Yeah, and I've used this God knows how many times. I never want Cancelo to kick another football for our club. However, if Pep decided to play him, thankfully it looks like he's going. Thankfully, and I say thankfully, if Pep used him though, I wouldn't boo him, but I wouldn't cheer him or clap him either. I think because that. Listen, do you think for 1 minute that the likes of Calvin Phillips doesn't look at social media and see people slaughtering him? Because a lot of people copy that, that at Calvin Phillips or whatever his handle is. Of course they do. They're human beings at the end of the day. And for people, how would we feel if somebody comes knocking on your work's door and goes, get that savage out, he's had a bad day today, or he's not good enough to work here? How would you feel?
I the Pep signed that player, and it's not to say that he didn't know what he was getting. He signed Calvin Phillips for a reason. It was the same when Rodri was trying to replace Fernandinho. We thought it would never happen. Now look what we have in our hands. So Pep has seen something in Phillips, just because we don't see it, or maybe he's not. Like, you can't compare him to Rodri. It's absolutely impossible.
It's a chasm. It's like whoever you brought in as a backup. It's a chasm, mate. Now, how long is it going to take for people? Because if it doesn't work out for Calvin, I really, really do, and not just because he's brought a brilliant documentary out. No, I really hope it works out for him, because at the end of the day, he pulls our shirt on. But if Kovacic ends up playing there, Kovacic is going to be a million miles away from what Rodri is. So are people going to start having a go at Kovacic then?
Of course they are. But the last bad player you could say that Pep signed was Bravo, the goalkeeper, and he quickly rectified that.
Bravo.
So, but apart from that, name another signing the Pep hasn't worked out.
Yeah, beyond belief there, Anne-Marie. Things need freshening up with a defeat here and there. I'd rather do it in a glorified friendly than a league game. Bang on the money. Bang on the money. So how come we've got all the sensible heads in the chat, and me and Paddy, and we're there's so many loonies running the asylum on Twitter and another available social medias.
Because it's easy to sit behind a keyboard, isn't it? It's easy to sit and type shit behind a keyboard, aiming it at somebody.
Wash your mouth out because we can't see you.
But that's exactly what it is. It's easy. It'd be like me sitting here now and typing about how shit Mahrez was.
To be fair to you, Anne-Marie, you had your opinions on him. You've never booed him. You've never
ever.
You've never slaughtered him. You know, I've never seen you slaughter him in public at the match. That's a different. Listen, we've all got our opinions on players, you know, and stuff like that. There's certain players I think, you know, some absolutely bobbins for whatever reason, whether that's current or past, probably in the future. I won't start doing it on social media because it's what Paddy said.
Because it's not what we're used to doing.
Snowballing, doesn't it? He starts that jumping on the bandwagon, and before you know it, that's filtered to a player.
But it's not something that we're used to doing, you know, because obviously when we've been watching up until the last 10 years, there was no such thing as social media. So whatever we said, it was between ourselves at the ground or down the pub or whatever it was, and it wasn't a public thing. It's not like you could ever go up to a player and say, do you know what, you had the worst game I've ever seen today. But people are quite happy to sit on the phones, on the laptops, iPads, whatever, and type that and direct it at the player. And that's one of the biggest issues with social media, because people it isn't real. Because you wouldn't dream of doing that if you met them out in public.
I guarantee you 99% of them boo boys on Twitter don't go to matches.
Yeah.
Which for me, it doesn't matter, you know, whether somebody goes to a match or not. And, you know, I think Alex just said it. I've just had his comment. Oh, new fans are welcome from all nations, but they need to support the club and learn. Spot on, mate. You know, because I don't care wherever City fans come from. You know, we've just had a pre-season in Asia. I'd have preferred it at Macclesfield or Bury or, you know, or wherever. However, the club's in a total different direction now.
Can I just make a point about the pre-season?
Of course you can.
Because this is my niggle, in that we've watched all the pre-season stuff that City TV have put out and all the videos that have been on Twitter and what have you. And they've gone out to Asia and they were met by hundreds and thousands of fans at the airport. They stopped and spoke to those fans and shook hands with them and had photos taken with them. They did the same at the grounds. They did it after the game. And I just want to know, at what point do we have that access to our first team players? Because we don't.
Spot on, because normally when they take a trophy, they normally take the trophy overseas before we have chance to have our beautiful faces and Paddy's picture with it.
Yeah,
exactly.
More class as the old dependables.
Mm-hmm.
They're trying to increase that brand, hence why we're about to turn over 7 billion. They want them fans they buy all them stupid shirts and buy this and buy that. City knows we're not going to do that. Not a hope are we going to do that.
Well, the thing is, though, and this is not racist or a joke or anything, the kits, they'll be buying them kits in China where they're pittance anyway. Where over here, again, with me and Paddy was talking earlier, you're talking for a shirt now with a name on, like £100.
Yeah.
They seem to be pricing us out in every way. Martin's got a good point there, but I'm going to throw another point straight back into yous as well as the guys in the chat. Grealish agenda is boring now, in his honest opinion. I think the Calvin Phillips one is, mate. I really, really do. I think the agenda against Calvin Phillips, it's boring and uncalled for. Grealish arguably was our best player last season, and all of a sudden we're getting some fans going along with what Paddy said earlier, jumping on the bandwagon of crap media about him partying. Where's it come from?
Exactly where's it come from? I'll tell you where exactly it's come from. The rags and the dippers journalists who have a set agenda against our players, and then all these morons jump on that bandwagon and think, oh, Grealish is out to 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. Grealish this, Grealish that. Really? Do you think Pep's going to put up with that?
Mm-hmm.
Like, remember when Aguero retired from football and Pep went to Barcelona to see him off, and Grealish and Foden turned up, and they were a bit worse for wear. They thought they could misbehave, and the assistant manager rang him, and they were sent home. They were dropped. Both of them were dropped for about 3 or 4 matches, because that's the level of what Pep wants. So don't tell me Grealish is out. And when he gets a day off during the week, he's entitled to go and do whatever he wants. That's his time. He's an employee of that club, just the way we're all employees. And he's quite entitled to go out and get pissed out of his head if he wants, which he doesn't do, but he's entitled to do it if he wants. Like, Jack Grealish is carrying less than 10% body fat. You don't get that being out in the piss.
I can vouch for that as well, because I've got the rest of it. So Dave Ridge just put there, yesterday wasn't important unless you're a gooner. I agree with that. They got very lucky, very late in a game. We've definitely got much bigger fish to fry. Absolutely, mate. And I said even before we went away on pre-season, I'm sure there's hundreds and thousands, I don't mean the sprinkly ones, of City fans who said the same, that Friday coming up is the most important, because I do believe we've got. I know we come out of the blocks normally slow at the start of the season, but I think we need to come out of the blocks really, really quick. And for anybody to doubt what Pep and the backroom team are doing is a little bit naive, because I'm also hearing that, we're actually weaker than we was last season. I sort of get that. However, we've just brought Gvardiol in, who's, again, arguably the best centre-back on the planet. Kovacic, he will assist Haaland a lot this season, which will take the workload off, KDB a lot. But they say Gundogan's gone. I love Gundogan. I really love him. But he only seems to flourish at the back end of a season, which, don't get me wrong, he won us the FA Cup, la-di-da-di-da, some important goals. But I think we need consistency throughout the midfield, throughout the season, rather than rely on somebody at the back end of the season. As I say, love Gundogan. He's probably one of my all-time favourite City players. But if you sit back and reflect, we've got a very, very, very good player in Kovacic. And again, a masterclass by Cheeky as well for getting him at 25 million?
Yeah.
And we're forgetting Foden and all of this as well.
Yeah.
I think him and Kevin are going to be important this season. Yeah.
So it's a massive season for Phil this season, as it is for everybody. Now, where we will be going on who's going to come in, who's not coming in. Pep's already pretty much said, hasn't he, that there is going to be incomings. Whether that's going to be on the right wing, whether it's going to be somebody else. There's rumours, not an in the know. There's rumours of we'll sniff around Matomo. I hope it's not Lucian Matomo. We've had him, haven't we? Matomo at Brighton. But would Cole Palmer be the mate way in that? I thought Cole Palmer played okay yesterday. Again, be a glorified friendly. But he still came up against some very good players yesterday, and he was over on the right wing. Normally, he plays on the left wing. So, will Pep let him go? How come we didn't see what was up with McAtee yesterday?
He was on the bench, wasn't he?
Yeah. I just thought Pep would have played McAtee as well as Phillips and, everyone really, considering what's coming up on Friday. But, Pep sees these players, daily in training. So it's easy to look on the outside and judge players why they're not in a team.
Yeah. But I think we have to listen to Pep. Like, that team, every player in that squad is going to be needed for the duration of this season. Like, you think about it, we're playing Burnley on Friday night, and then we're way at the end of that. What do you call that? Super Cup, is it? On Wednesday, and then we're back then for the weekend. So you can't be throwing out the same 11 players week in, week out. It's not going to work. And Pep has already says that Foden needs to learn about playing in midfield. He can certainly play 5 different positions, but he needs to learn about playing in midfield. He's not to finish the article there. They take over the reins from KDB. It's not going to happen. Not this season.
No, I get that. Like Keith's come up with a point there. Hiya, Keith. I think you are wrong. The ones making the most noise on social media have never been to the Etihad and probably never will. I think that there's a lot of truth in that. So how do we? In fact, there was somebody, and I don't really want to give many airtime, but I'm going to give you an example. There was somebody yesterday. Who was he slaughtering? He was slaughtering Bernardo. He was slaughtering Bernardo Silva, saying that he should never play for City again. City need to sell him. I looked at this lad's profile. He was a Barcelona fan as well. Hang on a minute. Where does Bernardo want to go? Hello. It's absolutely incredible, some of the stuff we're seeing. And it's not a rant tonight. I'm shouting a little bit because of my throat, admittedly, but it's not a rant. I'm just sick of all the meltdown and stuff like that because, if we didn't, God forbid, if we didn't win our, say, the first 3 or 5 games, what would we see, Anne-Marie? Would we see a Pep out brigade?
More than likely. But, as I said earlier, we only need to look at it in the group, in our Facebook group. We get more comments after a defeat or a draw than we do after an amazing victory, unless it's against the Rags. And unfortunately, some people aren't happy unless they've got something to moan about. Or someone to moan about.
As you said, Anne-Marie, that's social media. Like 10, 15, 20 years ago, you wouldn't be down the pub after match and talking like these fellas are talking on social media because you'd have got your mouth busted.
Yeah.
It's very easy to sit behind a keyboard and say this, that, or whatever. In reality, when you're face to face with somebody in whatever kind of setting it is, the conversations and discussions tend to be a hell of a lot more balanced or honest. It's very easy to sit behind the keyboard and mock whatever. Like anybody mocking Grealish after the season he had last season, what did they want? What more did they want? Same with Silva, which you're on about, Andy. He should never play for City again. How can you actually take these people seriously?
I don't know, and that's why I wanted to do a stream tonight, on this because, as I say, it's head. And looks like you have done a lot of head scratching. It's just incredible that the players what are actually getting stick, for pre-season friendlies, and somebody quite rightly said, wait, pretty much near the beginning of the show, we are still 2 weeks behind everybody else, and we are still at the end of the season. We're going to still be we're 2 weeks behind everybody else because the season started and we've got more games. So again, do people want full strength team every single game, including pre-season friendlies, and then you start a Premier League game and God forbid someone goes off injured and somebody's not even ready to come on, because they're not fit. For me, a big plus yesterday. I came away from the game yesterday. I don't mean away from there because I didn't go, but I came away thinking the big plus for me today was De Bruyne. He looked nice and healthy. He looked fit. He looked all right. For me, that was a big plus yesterday, and that's what these games are all about.
Absolutely.
And like Pep is notorious and almost famous for messing around with that team before Christmas. Like last season, when the season kicked off, he was playing Silva at left back. Like he's not. I don't think this season he's going to get the time or the opportunity to do that. I think it's going to have to be a solid team from day one, starting on Friday night, because we can't afford to give Arsenal or Liverpool or United a lead and then chase it down. Because eventually there's going to come a time where you can't chase that lead down. And even Chelsea, under your man, that Pochettino, I think they're going to be a very, very good team. Pochettino plays good football.
Agree.
So I don't think it's going to be a walk in the park for anyone this season.
Right, bear with me. I know this can be said about anything, but I think I'll give you my prediction now. We will win the league, and I think we'll win it by a good few points. I really do. Because although the league is going to be the most competitive, everybody is going to be taking points off each other, including, like, say, Newcastle taking them off United and Arsenal and so on and so forth. It's all about what we do. And again, I know that can be said about any team, but we've got the track record. We've been there. We've got the nerve. And I can't really see any more outgoings. Because I think the last thing Pep will want is, and again, it's just trying to second guess a genius. If things, in training and stuff like that are not quite right, would you want to exit players, or would you want to work with who you know, or bring a fresh face in who you could be a year down the line with, like we saw with Grealish?
Well, Pep will make that decision. Like Pep's not stupid, but my only fear for this season, Andy, is no matter who we're playing, and I know we've had this for X number of years, but no matter who we're playing this season, they're going to increase their game by 30-40% to beat the treble winners.
Mm-hmm.
Like we've seen that down through the years where people think, Jesus, like you're absolutely crap last week. You've been crap for the last 6 months, and all of a sudden you've turned into Brazil of the 70s when they play us. And then there's certain players then that seem to have the game of their lives against us. Like your man, I know he's gone now, Saha, but Saha used to have the game of his life against us.
Mm-hmm.
And, so everybody's going to, yes, I agree with you're saying, teams are going to take points off each other, but I think there's more, the 19 other teams are going to have more incentive to take points off us.
I think, again, and I'm going early with this. We will win the league. Anne-Marie, God forbid, we didn't win anything next season. What are some of these fans going to be like?
Oh, they'll be jumping ship.
Great, absolutely,
exactly. But it's that simple. They'll be going on to the next. Who they think is going to be the next Glory Boys.
Mm-hmm.
It's that simple.
Jack Lee, good evening, Jack. Palmer looked good. Absolutely. So, again, Palmer, he's a perfect example of what I'm on about, Jack. No, he didn't get a lot of game time last season. When he came on, he was getting a few minutes every other game, wasn't he? But when he came on, sometimes he looked good. However, he wasn't given enough time to go about his business. He was just a substitute, wasn't he? To either run the clock down or something like that. But he's another one who's a year down the line with Pep's methods. He's trained with the first team. I think he looked okay in the Euros for England, as did Gomez. We've not really seen much of Gomez in pre-season. But Palmer did look good yesterday. And is there a future for him, or do we want to discard him? Me, I won't let him go out on loan or anything. I'd be wanting to keep the likes of Palmer in the squad because he's unpredictable. Sometimes I don't think he knows what he's doing himself. Which if he doesn't know what he's doing himself, how can anybody else? I just think we're a disposable society, I'll put it. Whereas, if one toy's not working, we want to buy a new toy. And I've always said as well, sometimes it's best to work with what you've got because there's no guarantee what you bring in is better.
Yeah.
Mm.
Very philosophical, that, wasn't it?
Yeah. You're eating them dictionaries again, have you?
Well, the one thing's for sure, Paddy, he might be able to say the word, but he couldn't bloody spell it.
I can. IT.
Challenge, go on, spell it.
IT. You have to get up a bit earlier, Anne-Marie. And I just know that camera's off because Mahrez is there with you, and you don't want his missus to see.
Yeah. Anne-Marie.
Well, I can guarantee you, he isn't.
So yeah. So, what's our hopes for next season? Or
Premier League.
Realistic.
Premier League, 4 in a row, shut them all up.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be quite happy with that.
If you could choose one trophy next season, if we could only win one trophy next season.
Well, there is only one trophy, and that's the Premier League. But I'm not as confident as you. I don't think we're going to run away with this. You think we're going to win that league by points? I think you're in drugs. I can't.
What we had, and agree with me or not, I'm not bothered because, like Treble, when I said before, it's all about opinions. Opinions are like arseholes. Everyone's got one. Unless they've got a colostomy bag, but that's a different story.
An asshole.
I forgot what I was going to say now. I've gone off track.
That serves you right.
Verbal diarrhea.
Standard, Paddy.
I forgot. Honestly, that's just from. I just had the thought of it now.
How many points do you think we'll win the league by next season? If you're so confident.
7.
Jesus.
Are you guys in the comments confident? I'm pretty sure we'll win the league. No?
Yeah, 4 in a row, and that will just because nobody's done that. They've not done that. United never did it. Happy days.
I've got a great idea for a marketing thing, but I'm not telling you.
No, you keep it to yourself, Andy.
Yeah. They call them
so anyway, guys, as well, we've got a new sponsor tonight for the show, and the sponsor is going to be with us every single week, and we can't thank them enough. I'm just trying to find it here. Where's it gone? Oh, there it is. Our new sponsor is. Look at that. Look at that. Yes, it is. It is our very own website. Go onto it, www.savageonlinestore.co.uk. Any mug, use the code PUBCast, and you'll get an extra £1 off anything. There's some, and if there's stuff on there as well, or if there's not stuff on there as well, what you want, message me and I will make it happen for you. But yeah, we're even sponsoring our own shows now. Will we get done for FFP?
I doubt it, Andy.
But yeah, I just wanted to get the frustration of not anger, frustration of all the meltdowns, what we've been seeing, because it's got to be a time now where, listen, we're not going to win everything. We're not going to win every game. We're not going to win every trophy. What is people's expectations next season? It's mind-boggling.
Well, if they start with the Premier League and then they can win whatever they want after that. But Premier League is the bread and butter.
Absolutely.
Does everybody in the comments agree with that? Premier League is a numero uno for next season.
Even Pep says that.
I like the way what Pep said though. When he was asked about the 3 charity shields, and he went, "You know, Smith, we won the Premier League." Pep's really touchy with the press, isn't he? Have you noticed that at the moment?
Because they ask the most stupidest questions.
There's no such thing as a stupid question.
Fucking, you only win the press room and listen to them.
So yeah, right. I think we'll wrap it up there. Listen, Martin, the Mancunian Weight, is going to be doing a show later on. I'm not sure what time it is, but yeah, go over and support Martin. You know, as the Mancunian Way always, you know, supports us. Thank you for all the interaction tonight, guys. It seems like we're all pretty much in sync, really. You know, with some of the stuff we're saying. And again, it's not happy clappers or anything like that. I want everybody to love City, you know, blah da da da. I just think there's a level where there's got to be a level of reality, really, where and what's your expectations, because there will be a time, sadly, when Pep's not with us. That time, we're not going to be as successful, in my humble opinion. So I think there's got to be a bit of realism. Let's back players. You know, let's not slaughter players. You know, there's nothing up with Grealish. There's nothing up with Calvin Phillips. Let's get behind these players. You know, because at the end of the day, they're in a blue shirt. And if they're doing well, it means our team is doing well. So thank you, Paddy, for joining us. Thank you, Anne-Marie, and your mystery guest there in that bedroom.
Yeah, Anne-Marie, a dark horse, Anne-Marie.
Yeah. Thanks for everybody in the chat as well. Listen, we are going to be doing some giveaways as well. So there will be mugs and stuff like that. Don't forget to go on the website, order it, PUBCast, and sort you some deals out. Anything you want, let us know. But there is going to be some good giveaways going on for you guys, because you're the best interaction we've ever had. Thanks, guys. Listen, have a great week, and we'll be back.
Take care, everyone.
Thanks, guys.
We'll be back on Sunday. Have a good week, guys. See you later. Bye-bye now.
Bye.